Olympia School District is apologizing after a high school student section made racist chants caught on video targeting a black player at a basketball game.
We're here at River Ridge High School, where behind me you can see pretty large group of students here at the high school.
North Thurston County high schools are protesting against what they call racism and rape culture. The students walked out of class this morning and say this is just the beginning.
I mean, honestly, it started before we went to school. I think our 8th grade year is when the district finally got a Black student union, and our first one was at River Ridge. I joined the Black student union my freshman year, and then I know I had moved to North Thurston High School, but they didn't have a Black student union, and I asked if we could start one, and they told me no, and they lied to me about the reasons why they couldn't have it. So I reported that back to my advisor over at River Ridge. We talked with their principals about it, and we were finally able to get one started. But there was a lot of pushback during that time. During all the protesting over George Floyd, we had put up signs on some school fences with the permission of the schools. There was a district official who had taken the signs down. And then more recently, the River Ridge game against Capitol, and how some kids from Capitol were calling our boys gorillas. And when we came to the admin and the district about it, they did absolutely nothing, and we were at our last straw. So we decided to protest.
So I just know that we've always wanted to do the protest. My friends, they're on the cheer team. And there was an incident with a photographer. He actually graduated from my school, and he's 20 years old. And he would make some weird comments about the cheerleaders while taking pictures of them. He would say, should I become a cheerleader so I can look up the girls' skirts? So they told the principal, and they were called out of class every single day for 2 months, just talking about it. My vice principal, one of them, he basically are you telling the truth? Are you lying? After they have evidence showing that he has done that. That is the main reason why this protest actually jump started.
We wanted to march to make a large statement and a large showing of solidarity with the protests that have been going on at River Ridge High School. We also wanted to express that Timberline also has challenges with issues of racism and rape culture. The goal is to support those who have to report these incidents and make sure that there's follow through and improvement.
We're protesting against racism and rape culture in the schools. Those sound like a lot of buzzwords, but we're really living this stuff. This stuff is really happening to us. So it's not just that, it's a lot more.
I am actually a victim of rape. It happened in freshman year on school campus from another student. At the time, I definitely did not have the courage to speak up completely, but I did go to one of the counselors in the office, and I was breaking down crying in there. I'm trying to press charges on this person, but talking to the detective I've been working with, they tried to see if there was any files that the counselor left, and they didn't talk to the guy. They didn't do anything. I just don't want anyone else to go through this, because it's definitely not okay. And then the trauma, 3 years later, it's definitely still there.
I've seen a couple of times where teachers would walk past a group of students making racist jokes or racist remarks about another student, but the teachers don't speak out about that.
I was sexually assaulted by a student that goes to Timberline. Multiple teachers knew what happened to me, and nobody reported it at all. I spoke with my counselor about what happened, and nothing was done. Our trans students are being harassed in the bathrooms. There was a student who physically barred one of our trans students from going to the bathroom. I know that other students have also brought up issues pertaining to that same student, and nothing's also been done. We're tired of it.
Freshman year, I was being harassed by this one guy for weeks on end. He would make comments about my appearance and ask really intrusive questions about my race. And he would try to coerce me to wear my hair differently, for him. And when I told my counselor that all this was happening and that he wouldn't leave me alone, she just told me to join the Cultural Awareness Club, because that's obviously my problem to deal with.
There's been threats to protesters at River Ridge. Even today, we've had people rolling by in cars, flipping us off, saying mean things. But we can't retaliate. We can't do anything bad. We just have to keep doing our peaceful protests and hope something changes.
There was a video going around of these kids saying that they were going to shoot all of the protesters. What happened at first is once we heard that, they made us go into a lockdown. But for some reason, only the protesters were in a lockdown. The entire school was not. They were all going to classes. I was protesting, but my sister, she couldn't. So my dad called and was like, why is one of my daughters in a lockdown and my other's not? And the school basically said that there's no lockdown. But after like 30 parents called the school, then they finally put everyone in a lockdown. So then when we heard that was like not true, we went back to go march. And then all of a sudden, someone said that they saw the kid that threatened us. All I remember was they were telling us to like run. We all ran, and that's the only reason why we got into the auction. And then all of a sudden, people were telling us to go back to the theater. I was like, why would we go back out after the whole entire school's in a lockdown? So they were trying to like trick us because they know that once we leave the auction, it's locked. They were just trying to get us back outside.
On a district level, I feel like the message needs to get out to the teachers that y'all need to say something. Y'all can't let this just slide constantly. It keeps sliding and sliding. Y'all keep pushing this under the rug.
I guess there's two main things. One thing is listen to the student voice. Really listen and hear what students are concerned about. Try to do our best to make it better. Try to do our best to make it a safer environment. And the other thing is for my colleagues and my peers to put their heart first. Look at what the students need most. Try your best to nurture, encourage, support them in those ways.
So do you feel that instances of sexual assault and racism are handled properly within the school?
Yeah, I think we have tried really hard and worked really hard over the years to make sure that we're addressing situations that come up. Obviously anything that has to do with things that break the law, immediately get law enforcement involved as well as deal with them at the school level.
Mm-hmm. You've heard, I'm guessing, like the main concerns of the protests recently, right?
Yeah.
So has Timberline outlined any specific plans to meet those demands?
I've spoken with our BSU advisor and wanted to respect the work that was going on at with the district, BSU, and the district office. And we've talked about, when the time is right for, myself and our BSU
mm-hmm.
building leaders to get together, but wanted to try to keep that door open while at the same time respecting that there's processes that are currently
right.
going on at the district level.
What would your main message to the protesters be?
I think that part of what we have in our country, is the the right to peacefully protest, and that I hope that moving forward that there's positive movement to try to make sure that our students and staff and families are taken care of, and that hopefully there's positive outcomes that come out of this.
So you got into it a little bit, especially towards the start, but do you support the protests generally?
I of course support the right for people to peacefully protest.
District level, hoping to see more black teachers, hoping to see more communication with the students, not even do what we want all the time, just talk to us, open up a dialogue, something like that, so we know we're being heard and we know that they're at least thinking about doing something. That's what we want.